Welcome to Murder with the Misses. I'm Haley.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Mackenzie Shirilla.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Darren is still in recovery, but there's been a couple of things happening, and I was like, I can't wait to talk about them, so I brought in Haley.
That's me.
So after this one, you're still going to see some pre-recorded stuff that me and Darren did. Just a warning. But this one, Mackenzie Shirilla, it's another well-known case in the true crime community, but even if you've heard of it, there's new stuff happening. So stick around and hear what's going on. And because it's already been out there for a little while, I can just get straight into it. Mackenzie saw herself as a bit of an influencer. She was very young, but still posted everything online. Friends would later say that once she started high school, it became half shirts, giant eyelashes, and Prada bags. Hella duck face selfies is what I'm trying to get at. Then she started dating Dominic Russo, who was 3 years older than her, so she really thought she was hot shit then. His family was well off, and that just added to her it status. You fast forward to 2022. 20-year-old Dominic was out of school and living in a house right next door to his parents' house. He was investing and was really into Bitcoin. He also had a clothing line and wanted to be a singer. So he even had a recording studio in his house. Now, eventually, Mackenzie would move in. She was 17 years old at the time, and she moved in around December of 2021 or January of 2022. She was still a senior in high school, but she had her own stuff going on too. Companies would send her merch, and she would model that merch on her social media. So life was good.
But was it though? I mean, people put what they want the world to see online. So there's always more,
100%.
To the story.
Yes, and this is definitely one of those cases. Now, on July 31st of 2022, very early in the morning, a call came into 911. A man driving through an industrial park saw a car that looked like it had crashed into a building, and this car was mangled. First responders respond to the scene, and one officer testified that he saw the legs and lower torso of a female through the driver's side door. So the airbags are out, and they're like pulling them to the side. They're yelling in the car, "Can anybody hear me?" And he can see these legs and bottom part of the torso. The upper half of her body, because this was Mackenzie, the upper half of her body was on the passenger side underneath the dashboard, with the dashboard caved in on top of her. From the passenger side of the car, they could see a male who was later identified as Dominic's friend, 19-year-old Davion Flanagan. Now, he was on top of the passenger seat with his back on the top of the seat and his head facing the top of the car. And so they could see that he had severe head trauma. The passenger seat that he was laying on was reclined all the way back, and the damage to the car was pretty extensive. So like everything is kind of jumbled in together. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. But as they looked, they could see that Davion was actually laying on top of another male. This was Dominic, or Dom. He was in the front passenger seat and also had appeared to have several severe head trauma. All three in the car appeared to be deceased.
Oh my gosh. And they were all so young.
So young. And I'm not sure why, but apparently there had been graduation parties the night before all around town. Around here, high school graduations happen in May, and this was July 31st. So I'm not sure how different it is in Ohio, but I imagine that at least a cop or two immediately jumped to the conclusion that this was a group of kids who had been out at one of those parties. And they weren't wrong about that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. They are trying to assess the scene to try to figure out how to get into what remained of this car and get the people that were inside of it out. And that's when they hear it, a mumble coming from the driver that was still trapped under the dash. If she was alive, maybe the other two were too. So they start cutting the car open to get them out. Now, unfortunately, they would only call for 2 air ambulances to come to the scene. because when they were able to get to them, they learned that it was too late for Dom. He had already passed away. So they had Mackenzie out, and she immediately asked, "How's Davion?" Sadly, Davion would pass away before the ambulance arrived on scene.
So she was alert and talking.
Yes, she was talking to them. She told them her name, and she asked about Davion.
Oh.
Now, at the scene, they said that she was confused, though. She was alert but confused. Her blood oxygen was at 82 when the normal range is 95 or above. Her blood pressure was elevated, but her heart rate was normal. She was life-flighted and had to have several surgeries, but did not have life-threatening injuries. Somehow.
Yeah.
She did have a broken femur, broken humerus bone, several fractured ribs, and other internal damage, though. She also says that she has no memory of what happened. So they're asking her what happened, and she can't tell them. Yep. Here might be a good time to mention that when they were assessing her at the scene, they was moving her, getting her around and everything, and they found mushrooms in her shirt. Yeah. So I'm going to throw that in there. They would end up finding, I'm sorry. This is all new to me. I'm sorry. They would end up finding 8.1 grams of mushrooms, a digital scale, 2 cell phones, a bong, a bag of weed, and a Cadillac key fob, which is not the car that they were driving. They were in Mackenzie's Toyota Camry, so I'm not sure where that Cadillac key fob comes into play, but it was 2 days before Mackenzie's 18th birthday that they had this crash, so she was still 17 years old. She wasn't in the hospital for long, but while there, she was posting on her social media, and she got a lot of attention. Not just from the cops and her followers that she was racking up, but from modeling agencies too. One commented on a picture of her telling her how beautiful she was and saying that they wanted to work with her.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
She's in the hospital.
Yeah.
After having a wreck that killed 2 people. Now she replied to this comment. "Thank you for the comment. I would love to work with you guys. I've been emailing you guys a lot, 2 exclamation points. Such a great opportunity. Thank you."
Okay. And this is online. So Dom and Davion's families are probably just seeing all of this.
Oh yeah. If they're not seeing it, they're being told about it.
Oh yeah.
For sure. And that's just the start of it. She wasn't in the hospital for more than a week because it was August 6th that the cops were called to her house because her dad felt like she needed a mental evaluation. She had wanted to go to Dom's funeral and her parents wouldn't let her, so she flipped out. That's the kind of thing that you would expect to hear, right? I mean, she's fresh out of the hospital after this horrific event. 2 of her friends, one being her boyfriend, has passed away. And they're like, "You're not allowed to go to this funeral." What no one was expecting, though, was that she was allowed to go to a concert. So there's pictures of her at a concert in a bikini top, sitting in her wheelchair, having a good time. She was making social media posts of herself saying with where it's you, and then there's a saying on the screen. And the saying was, "I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die." She's really making this really bad on herself. But the real kicker came on October 30th, which is Halloween Eve. She posted a video of her and a couple of her friends in a hotel room. This was a transition video. So at first they are in comfy clothes, hanging out, and then it transitions to them in their costumes as corpses. Black, torn dresses and clothes, white faces with black around their eyes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the pictures and the video were all sent to the police. All these people are seeing this and they're like, she obviously is not feeling the way she should be feeling. She's doing the most. It's not okay. So in November, Mackenzie is arrested. Not just because of those pictures, not just because of the videos, but because the cops had already been investigating, right? Because this is not just some run-of-the-mill everyday accident. They had done a toxicology panel on her at the hospital, and they know that she didn't have any alcohol in her system, but she did have marijuana. They had pulled in friends of all three of these people and know that they had been to a couple of houses that night. One was an actual party by all accounts, and the other was just a few people hanging out. Mackenzie had fallen asleep at the second house, and it was sometime around 5 a.m. that her and Dom decided to go home. Dom told Davion that they would give him a ride home to his house. One of the friends that the police interviewed had Davion on his Life 360 app, and he pulled that up for the cops. He had actually taken screenshots from that night of Davion's activities, and that showed the route that they took when they left that house. So the police also go and pull surveillance along that route. And there's not really any traffic on the road at the time because it's very early, 5:30 or so in the morning. So it's very clear to see them and what happens. Now, let's break right here to hear from today's sponsor before we get to talking about the surveillance footage.
If you're in a heated argument with your dryer, don't worry. You'll both cool down eventually. Or maybe you just need a washer and dryer. Don't get agitated. Take a load off.
Get your laundry set from My Laundry Solutions and let them iron out your problems. If you live in an apartment, get your set from them. They service them, and they have locations in Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. The most recent area is Lubbock, Texas, around the Tech Terrace area, with more locations coming soon.
So give them a call today. 800-535-4411.
Or go online to mylaundrysolutions.com.
And let them wash your troubles away.
Listen, if you're watching this video, please know Darren makes this look really easy. And I'm having to control this board over here, and I don't know how to do it. So
Doing her best.
bear with me, and please don't hate me. I try. Now, based on their surveillance footage, they can see that the car is driving very normally. Normal speed, not erratic. You know, you expect if they're leaving a party, you expect them to be swerving all over the road or something. No, none of that. Mackenzie's driving, and Dom is in the passenger seat. Davion is in the back seat. And we know now, because of the black box, that both front seat belts were engaged.
Okay, so far so good.
Yeah, they're binding their P's and Q's.
Mm-hmm.
She makes a normal turn at an intersection at 5:34 a.m. All is well. Now, a lot of people say that they saw these three throughout the night as well. All these people that were at these parties or at this house, they have said they were acting normally. No fighting, no excessive drinking. All seemed well. There was some talk about them talking about whether they wanted to go ahead and trip or go ahead and head home. You know, so they're really, it sounds like they're making better decisions, trying not to drive intoxicated, you know what I mean? But once they turn onto Progress Drive off that intersection, this is an industrial park. It goes through an industrial park. Based on the black box data from the car, the Life 360 information, and the surveillance, the car hit speeds around 100 miles per hour. As it comes to a T in the road, it doesn't attempt to turn or slow down. It goes up over the curb, hits a business sign, and crashes into the building. Now, most of the impact was on the passenger side of the car. There was no attempt to brake at any time. It was full throttle. Now, the surveillance footage of her car speeding past a neighboring building was at 5:39 a.m. So that's just 5 minutes after that normal, typical turn onto Progress Drive. So in November, when Mackenzie is arrested, she is charged with aggravated murder, felonious assault, aggravated vehicular homicide, drug possession, and possessing criminal tools because of the scales and stuff that they found in the car. Young Mackenzie decided to forego a jury trial and test her fate with a bench trial. Now, that is when only a judge hears the case and decides if you're guilty or not.
Okay, I don't know if that's a good move or not.
Right.
With a jury, you have at least like 12 people
Right.
who only read about this kind of stuff or see it on the news, but like, you know, a judge, he can see through all that.
Yes. Judges hear all the excuses in the book.
Mm-hmm.
They know the law. They uphold the law. And they're used to this kind of stuff. So they can typically see through it. Like, they can tell when you're lying most of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, because they see it every day. It's a gamble, and she was willing to take that gamble. They pull up the surveillance footage, the pictures, the Life 360 data, all the things we've talked about. But the burning question on everyone's mind was, if she did this on purpose, because that's what the state's saying, she did this on purpose, why? Why would she do it? It came out pretty early on in the investigation that Dom and Mackenzie's relationship was not all duck-faced selfies and rainbows. Lots of family and friends painted a picture of a struggling relationship, very strained. Arguments, breakups. His family said that she controlled that relationship. She would make him take her to school. She would make him cook for her, take her on trips. Whatever she wanted to do, that's what they did. And if he pissed her off, she yelled and called him names and broke shit. Her ex told police that she wasn't all there mentally. She told people she had put a spell on Dom so that he couldn't break up with her. After the crash, she allegedly used a pendulum to try to talk to Dom. So she's doing all these erratic things, or things that people see as erratic, but her parents are like, no, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. In July of she's like, huh? What?
Yeah.
In July of 2022, that's the same month as the incident, there was a video that came about. Dom was on speakerphone with Mackenzie on his phone. So he used a friend's phone to video what was going on. He tells her that she can't keep making threats. And she tells him to stop being a little bitch and open the door. Because she's trying to get in and he's not letting her in. Yeah. She's saying that he's going to open the door right now, or there's going to be a serious fucking problem. She said she's going to break something.
I was waiting for you to say that she was going to count to 3 or something.
Actually, it was 10.
Oh.
She counted to 10. So it did happen. It was about 2 weeks before the crash that this happened. So they're like, oh, now we can see that they had arguments.
There was friction too.
That she claimed violence. She would threaten violence and things like that. So, yeah. Okay. Now, Dom also had called his mom at one point, also in July. He and Mackenzie were in the car on Interstate 71 while Mackenzie was driving. They were arguing, and she was threatening to crash the car.
Oh, that's not a good look.
Not good. A friend of his mom's went to pick up Dom, and he called Dom to get his exact location because they are still driving down Interstate 71, and this guy is trying to do some kind of Jason Statham recovery mission or something, but he's going to get him. And while he's on the phone with Dom, he can hear Mackenzie in the background saying, I'm going to wreck this car right now. Now, she did not wreck the car that day. She pulled over onto the shoulder. The friend pulled in behind him. And as he pulled in behind him, he could see a tussle, that's his words, in the car with Mackenzie swinging her hands at Dom. Yes, so he's claiming he saw physical violence from Mackenzie to Dom. And I told you those two things out of order, I think. Both happened in July, but it was the highway incident happened and then the video of him not letting her in the house. So,
okay.
And then right after that is the final crash. So this all happened in the same month. But the morning of the crash, like we said, all seemed well. They didn't seem to be fighting. But that can change in an instant, especially if you're dealing with a hothead. She sounds like a hothead. So police look at the car. This car can go from 0 to 102 miles per hour in 26.5 seconds and has a max speed of 129 miles per hour. There was nothing mechanically wrong with the car that would have made it act the way it did that night or morning. But the black box showed that the gear shift was manually shifted back and forth between drive and neutral 4.7 seconds before the crash. Keep that in mind. Also at that time, it was at the 4.6 second mark before the crash. The accelerator was fully depressed. Engine throttle was at 100% into all the way up to 1.6 seconds before the crash. And at that time, that's when they hit the curb and it went a little airborne.
Wow. And you said no No break at any point.
No break at any point. Now, you got to remember that this is on surveillance. So the camera's this way, and you can see the car go down the highway past it, and then it hits the building. So you can't actually see the impact, but you can see them driving to the impact. You can hear the impact. It's that close. But there's no brake lights pressed. Like, you can tell by the surveillance she didn't push on them. And now the black box is confirming no brake.
Oh,
No
wow.
brake. Now, 4.5 seconds before the crash, the Toyota Camry registered a small right turn, a small left turn, and then a significant right turn of the steering wheel. It was significant enough of a pull to the right that it made the car register it as a rollover event, like they had flipped the car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the car is going very fast, and then the steering wheel moved 142 degrees to the right. Then it registered the change in velocity. That's when it hopped the curb. And then a large change in velocity when it hit the wall. Now, it hit the wall 1.1 seconds after the steering wheel was yanked. So, to me, and this is my unprofessional opinion, it sounds like with the car being put into neutral and then back into drive, with the steering wheel being jerked back and forth, somebody in that passenger seat, Dom, was trying to either wreck the car or prevent the wreck of the car.
See, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Because what else can you do from the passenger seat except mess with the gear in the middle or on the side, or mess with the actual steering wheel to try to swerve and miss the building? Whatever you want to believe, but that's what I caught. That's just me. Now, crash reconstruction experts say that the car was going an average of 88.86 miles per hour over the 2 seconds leading up to the crash. It was at approximately 97 miles per hour when it left the roadway, when it hit the curb, and then it crashed into the building at approximately 80.5 miles per hour. They said it almost looked like this car had been cut in half when first responders were pulling up to the scene. They thought it had been completely cut in half.
Yeah.
A lot of people, including his family, believe that she was trying to take out everyone that night. Herself and Dom mostly, but that Davion was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were giving him a ride home, which she had said no to originally. So he's like, "Can y'all give me a ride home?" She said no. Dom said, "Yeah, get in. We're taking him home." So I don't know if that maybe sparked an argument that got out of control. But when she came up to that intersection at where Progress Drive was in Alameda, she would have had to keep going straight to go to Davion's house. So her turning onto Progress Drive took her out of the correct direction she needed to be going. So why did she turn there? Right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's very interesting information. Also interesting is that in the time leading up to the morning of the crash, because, cops aren't just going to look at that time. They're going to look back too, as far back as they can get, because a lot of them reset or re-record over things. They looked back and saw she went down Progress Drive several times leading up to that accident. And it's not a normal track for her to take. It wouldn't take her to anywhere she needed to go. So they believe these were like test runs, not necessarily like to go fast, but to see where the buildings are. If I go this way, I could hit this. You know what I mean? Planning it out. They're thinking that she was planning this out. That is so chilling. Now, her family would say this is ridiculous. Like, she's 17 years old. She's not planning out how to kill herself and her boyfriend in a car wreck. Like, that just doesn't make sense, right? And that she would not have tried to hurt herself. That she had never done that before and had never had thoughts of self-harm. But I guess Mom didn't think that they would find a police report from March 23rd of 2020 where police and fire had to respond to a call that 15-year-old Mackenzie was threatening to harm herself. There was a record of it, lady. Literally in a police report.
Quit lying.
She wasn't taken to the hospital for treatment that day because her parents told them they didn't think that the threats were real or that she would actually hurt herself. Anyways, she said in court, looking like the cat that ate the canary. It was really weird because like this is at her, whether they're going to find her guilty or innocent, you know, she's at the conviction part. And she's like, literally, she doesn't look happy. She looks very sure of herself to me. Like she's got this little smirk, this little thing going on. Like I'm about to go home, you know, whatever. Until the judge gave her ruling. Needless to say, the judge found her guilty and suspended her driver's license for life. Good call. Good call. She was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. That was her sentencing, or her sentence. So her first chance of parole will be in October of 2037. She probably won't get it. I'm just saying that that's the first time she'll be up for it. Now, you may remember when we covered the Wade Wilson case, and everyone was in an uproar, right? Mostly of laughter, but they were in an uproar because phone calls from prison, the YouTube channel, had gotten a hold of his jailhouse phone calls, right? And they were like airing all his dirty laundry. We learned all about his deceit, all about his crowdfunding that was not meant for what it was supposed to go to, all his manipulation of all these different women. Like it was a big thing. Well, they're back at it again because they are now releasing Mackenzie Shirilla's phone calls. And I don't have the audio because I don't know how to record on this. Why are you doing that? I can see you in my screen.
I know, I didn't realize.
I could tell I know, I should have done it. But in these phone calls, besides her talking about, you know, Kim Kardashian, trying to get Kim Kardashian on board.
Please.
With her. You can hear the entitlement, of course. But then, as you're listening, all of a sudden you hear this language, I'll call it. They're talking like me and you are talking English. Everything is normal. And then all of a sudden, like I said, it sounds like when I try to do my best rendition of Rap God by Eminem. It's just like, and then her mom's like, I know, but blah, blah, blah. And you're like, how did you? These are not words. This doesn't even sound like an actual dialect. And when you hear it, it kind of takes you aback for a second because you're like, did I just hear what I thought I heard? So you have to rewind. And then you hear it. Sometimes her mom talks in it if you listen to enough of the phone calls. And Dom's sister has come out and said, I believe it was Dom's sister, came out and said that this is actually gypsy language. So her and her mom are communicating using gypsy language that could not be translated. I don't think they could translate it if you wanted to, but her mom knew exactly what she was saying. So who knows what all they've been talking about while she's been in there. It just threw me off. It sounded weird.
If you speak gypsy language,
let me know.
Listen to those.
Translate.
Let us know what she said.
Translate it out because I need to know. Because they're just talking about random things. Like somebody yells in the background. She's like, oh, they're just waiting for commissary or they're just doing this or whatever. And then her mom's like, I know, we'll just blah, blah, blah. No, it's like, you didn't miss a beat, lady. You knew exactly what she said. But then I hear her mom do it. And I'm like, okay, they know the same one. Okay. Yes. Now, she has filed an appeal, of course, and it was denied. So she's trying to get a new trial now. And she's now blaming pots. And I'm not talking about the devil's lettuce that she smoked that night. I'm talking about the medical condition. And as a fellow potsy, because this is actually something I have, I still call bullshit. But everyone is different. I know. I get it. Her mom says that she was diagnosed with POTS in 2017. She even had a POTS episode a week or two before the crash. But they didn't take her to the doctor. They didn't limit her driving. They didn't take any precautions or anything like that. And I don't know about her, but I'm on medication. I have to wear compression socks. There's certain things I have to do. I have to increase salt intake. There's things I need to do to keep from having episodes. So I'm wondering if she's got it so bad, why is she not on medication? Why is she not wearing compression garments? Why is she not doing what you're supposed to do to keep from passing out? Because that's what you do with POTS. You pass out, or not everybody does. Sometimes it's just the feeling of you're going to pass out. But I don't know. And then she got her driver's license in April of 2021 and then another one in 2022 after the crash. But she didn't list any medical issues either time that could, quote, result in episodic impairment of consciousness or loss of muscular control when she got her licenses. And to be honest, I mean, in all fairness, my cardiologist didn't tell me I had to do that either. So when I read that in her appeal paperwork and stuff, I was like, wait a minute, am I supposed to do that? So now I got to call my doctor and be like, hey.
I mean, it makes sense, though.
It makes sense.
You know?
It makes sense. It really does if you think about it, but I didn't think about it. Now, she says this could be why she doesn't remember the crash. Like I said, it caused her to pass out. She had the crash. And you don't remember things when you pass out because you're not conscious, right? So this is what she's saying. She had texted Dom's mom after the accident saying, quote, I remember turning onto the street and then my vision fades to black. It really kills me. Okay, poor choice of words. Not to be able to remember anything. I promise you I would tell you. I've been asking my therapist why I don't remember, and she said it's because of trauma. I'm going to try to get myself hypnotized and make myself remember. She's using this to show, hey, I told her I don't remember. I obviously don't remember. But it says here that she doesn't remember because of trauma and that she's going to try to hypnotize herself to remember. But now if you're saying it's because of POTS and you had passed out, hypnotism is not going to work because your subconscious doesn't record things while you're, maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But anyways, this is what she's saying now. She even got an affidavit, right, from the University Hospital's neurological doctor, Kamal Shamali, I hope I'm saying that right, saying that her elevated lactose levels, abnormally low blood oxygen, and complete amnesia are classic markers of a seizure or similar event like that POTS would cause. So she's got a doctor who's willing to say, I mean, this sounds legit if it's true, because you can't go back on a POTS thing and be like, oh, I can tell you had an episode. That's not how it works. She's also claiming ineffective counsel, which is, of course, a classic. Everyone does. Because there were text messages that were not introduced into trial. One chain is between Dom's mom and Mackenzie from July 17th. That's the day of the highway incident. Remember on the highway? Mackenzie had texted her that someone needed to come and get Dom because he had just grabbed the steering wheel on the highway. Bro? She said she didn't feel safe and that he had lied to them about what really happened. And his mom replied, telling her to stop lying.
So she texted that after Dom had told them that she was threatening to wreck the car.
Had to have, right? Because why
Recovery.
else would she say that he had lied to them? Yeah. He had obviously already talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
So is this her actually telling the truth, or is this her saying, no, he grabbed the wheel. He lied to you. As like a, no, he did it. No,
Yeah,
he did it. No,
literally.
he did it. You know what I mean? It's a he said, she said.
Mm-hmm.
She also has texts with Dom after that incident where he's saying he's sorry and that wasn't trying to do anything because he would have died too, probably first. She took that as him saying that he was going to kill himself and then kill her too. So then he tries to explain that he's actually saying that if he was trying to do something like that, like wreck the car or something, that the impact would have been on his side, meaning not only would he die too, he would probably die first because that's where the impact would happen. But she was not understanding. He wasn't saying it as clear as I just did, so she wasn't understanding it. And so she just responded, so you would kill yourself first and so I would die second.
What?
He's like, no. Like,
Oh my gosh.
These are the types of people that I cannot text with. I can't.
It's like, take a second.
Just think about
Read it.
Yeah, think about it. Let it
Because you're
sink in.
not reading it, is what's happening.
There's no comprehension.
No.
Either way, she's using that to show basically that he admitted to grabbing the steering wheel in that altercation. So she's trying to show that this was a couple weeks before the crash. So this would show he had a history of doing that.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
And another thing with the POTS is that when you pass out, does your body not go limp? How could you
right?
still be pushing the accelerator full throttle 100% on the floor if your leg goes limp?
I think that maybe she's confused and trying to say that it's the same as like, because if you had a seizure, your body tenses, but like.
Right, that'd be a different thing, yeah.
POTS.
You take a nap.
You take a little nap.
You take a little nappy nap. Yeah. It's really, I don't know, it just confused me. I'm sure they'll have their own little experts get up there and battle.
Yeah.
If she gets a new trial. She's just trying. They're not saying she's going to get it. But that's where we're on this case. I just wanted to update everybody on what's going on now because I know this is a known story. But all this stuff is now coming out. So definitely go check out Phone Calls from Prison if you're interested in what she talks about with her mom. And then there's also, if you want to hear all the speculation, allegedlys and all that business about her jail life, you can also jump over to Jumpsuit Pablo's coverage of those phone calls and hear about some interesting things from people who were in her cell block who have said some things. We're not going to say it here because we're not that kind of reporter.
But it's very interesting.
It is interesting. I'm not going to say I didn't hear it. I'm not going to say I didn't go look at it. Just saying. If there's any major updates on the actual case, then we'll come back and follow up. But for now, this is where we're at. So what do you think? Accident or purpose?
No comment.
Oh.
You know what, Kim K? Get on that one, you know?
Kim K.
She wants you.
She's been begging for you for years. What's the holdup?
I wonder if those modeling agencies don't mind the color orange.
They're like, we got this new jumpsuit. We want you to try
literally.
Seriously. Okay. That's where we are. If you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe.
And don't forget to tell your friends as always.
Tell them. All right. See you on the next one.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
Is that your outro?
For now.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.